What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on Angel Reese situation and Caitlin Clark situation. And not so much like with the like the foul or the little almost altercation that they had this past weekend, this past Saturday, but like how like each organization has set up like their teams for success, or maybe didn't take opportunities to set their team up, like Indiana Fever, and I really, this idea really came through Jason Whitlock, right? And I thought Jason Whitlock made some good points when he said that Indiana has really set Caitlin Clark up in a position to, they took advantage of her skills really and set her up in a position to to be successful and to succeed. Whereas though the Chicago Sky didn't take those opportunities with Angel Reese, and so it never really occurred to me. But I want to listen to what Jason Whitlock said about the situation. Then I'm going to give my take on it, and so I'm gonna play the audio from Jason Whitlock show, and here we go.
The rival to Caitlin Clark, and just a cut below Caitlin Clark. But and I know you don't pay this close attention to the WNBA, but this is factual. The Indiana Fever went out this offseason and got one of the most accomplished coaches in the WNBA to come in and coach Caitlin Clark because they saw it as a great opportunity. Stephanie White, was a great player. She's been a great assistant coach. She's been a great head coach. The Chicago Sky gets some 37-year-old first-time head coach, Tyler Marsh. So the great coaches aren't looking, hey, how can I go connect with Angel Reese? This offseason, the Indiana Fever basically got whatever free agent player they wanted. They put a super team around Caitlin Clark. Dwana Bronner, very experienced, third-time all-time leading scorer now in the WNBA. So, came in third, surpassed up or moved up to number 3 in this weekend's game. Natasha Howard, super accomplished, got her. Sophie Cunningham, great spot-up shooter, great energy, got her from the field. They put a super team around Caitlin Clark because people want to play with Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
The Chicago Sky, they look perhaps worse than they were a year ago because people don't want to play with Angel Reese. I'm not speculating there. People that played with her at Maryland and LSU did not enjoy their experience. Haley Van Lee, their freshman or their rookie guard, not excited about having to reconnect with Angel Reese. The year she played with Angel Reese in college was the most difficult of her career, and she moved on and hit the portal again just to get away from Angel Reese. This angry Black woman that has some talent. She's a great rebounder, a great defender, could be an effective player in the WNBA, but she's so toxic. She's so angry. She's so bitter. She's so selfish. No one wants to play with her.
Yes.
That message, didn't the weigh-ins used to, there should be a message there that people are missing. That this whole persona that she's taken on, it's toxic.
Yeah, as much as I hate to agree with Jason Whitlock, I gotta say, the reason why the Indiana Fever was able to go out, like Jason Whitlock say, and get the pieces that they got is because of Caitlin Clark and like how she has conducted herself throughout, her first year in the NBA. I'm sorry, in the WNBA, right? And so, and with Angel Reese, she gotta be, like if you're not the kind of person that people want to play with, then they're going to have trouble putting, talent around you. People not going to want to, come and play with you. And so, and it's obvious, but people really hate to say it, or people really hate to admit that part of the reason why, they may not be able to attract people who want to play with Angel Reese is because of Angel Reese's attitude. And so now, even now with this new coach for the Chicago Sky, right? He's kind of changed Angel Reese's like her role on the team. They have her doing some things differently than what she did last year. They pulled her further away from the basket, and they're gonna ask her to more so try to like facilitate, which I don't think that that's her strong suit. But now all of it is not Angel's fault, but I do think that the fact that, and a lot of people know that like that mean girl type of attitude that sometimes like young ladies have when you have to they got to really be careful how they conduct themselves, or they don't, they find themselves in this type of situation where people don't want to play with them. During the WNBA draft, I watched a little bit of it, and soon as I found out or heard that Haley Van Leaf was drafted by the Chicago Sky, I was like, oh wow. And my daughter was like, what's wrong? I was like, yeah, that's probably the last place that Haley Van Leaf wanted to go, because I could see that when she was with LSU and they played in school, she was not comfortable there. And as soon as she could get out of there, she broke camp. She just rolled out. And yeah, I just it's just a sad situation when I don't know who is advising um Angel Reese. I think that you know that you got it. Somebody has to like be able to pull her coattail and tell her that like some of the things that she do and some of the antics and stuff is not really going to benefit her in the long way, in the long run. And I saw the shift, because if you remember that before LSU and Iowa played each other in college for that championship game, if you remember, Caitlin Clark was doing like that hand, like you can't see me, giving a hand gesture to different opponents and stuff like that, right? And so Angel Reese did it to her when they won that championship. But somebody must have, and you could tell, like right after that, Caitlin Clark, she stopped doing it, and somebody, you could tell that she was getting advice from somebody as to how to conduct yourself. Like you get ready to go to the next level, and you are somebody who's like a mega star, and so you are above that type of thing. So that's behind you. Put that behind you. And so she started to conduct herself differently. She stopped doing that. She's still kind of like showboat a little bit, like if she make a big three, but it's not so much directed at her opponents, right? But nobody told Caitlin Clark. I mean, I'm sorry, Angel Reese, like, like that's really, you are above that. You're not going to be able to anything you do at the next level is going to just be blown out of proportion. And I saw all this coming. I definitely saw all this coming where, because I mean, the way they made a big deal out of it when it happened in college, that should have right there should have let people in Angel Reese camp know that, yeah, you really need to you got to work on your image. It can't be you can't act like you're entitled, you know, and you gotta, you gotta handle the same, you gotta be as professional and as poised as your competitors are. And so far I haven't seen her being like she's acting more like she is entitled. And you're not gonna be able to do that, especially with other women who trying to beat you just like you trying to beat them. So yeah, man, I just saw this coming. I think that I don't know what going forward, like how Angel Reese is going to be able to like her image or like her role on the team, like all of this stuff is up in the air. And you would hate to see somebody, or see Angel Reese not be able to play in the league and then, blame the league and all this other stuff when and really I think I never thought, to be honest, like Angel Reese was as good as I'm sorry, I keep putting up the wrong. I never thought that Angel Reese was as good as Caitlin Clark, but she could still come in and work hard and maybe be able to get like have them surround her with enough talent where as though they'd be able to compete with Indiana, and then that would have made the rivalry fun. But like some of the stuff, like the mean girl type attitude and the entitlement, talking about like you was gonna go out on strike and all this other stuff, man. Just all this stuff in the end is really not going to serve her well. And I'm just disappointed that they didn't have people around her who could really pull her coattail tail and say, like in the long run, this not going to benefit you. You can just see that like Caitlin Clark is just handling her situation like a pro. And that's what I wanted to see from Angel Reese. I wanted to see Angel Reese handle her situation like a pro. And she didn't she's handling it more like she's entitled. And that's not gonna go far when you're talking about professional athletes and stuff like that. So and I know people don't like for you to, you don't want to hear the truth, but you gotta be honest. And so now she's in a situation where she's on a team that's not even as good as they were last year, like Jason Whitlock said. And so I think by the end of the basketball season, Angel Reese is probably going to be even more and more frustrated. She may even wind up on a different team, next year because they've already started to change her role. And so yeah, that's my take on it. I hope that things work out for Angel Reese. I hope that she continue to work hard, and then like I said, things work out for her. But when Caitlin Clark is playing chess, you got to play chess too, and if you want to be at least be in a conversation or try to keep up. Yeah, like I said, that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. With that being said, don't forget to leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.